Yeah, so what type of theology are you talking? Like, say, for example, about doctrines, this and that, existential theology. Like, what are you talking about, first of all? Because, theology in itself is vague when it could be split into categories. So, go ahead.
Okay. Um, well, it's something about like God's existence, I guess.
So, then you would be saying existential theology. Okay, so are you taking the
Yeah,
affirmative?
but
Are you taking the affirmative or negative?
the affirmative.
Well, I think God does exist, but I could just devil's advocate. Would you like to start? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll start, bro.
Yeah, just send your arguments at chat if you already have it there.
Okay.
Or you could say it instead.
Um,
I don't mind.
yeah, so, do you know what truth conditional semantics is?
What'd you say? I didn't hear you all the way. You said two conditionals?
Do you know what truth conditional semantics is?
Oh, yeah. Truth conditionals? Are you asking me to define that, or are you asking what I know about it? Like,
No, which one, if you know what it is.
okay, yeah, I do know what it is. It's just something that can be derived. Well, truth conditional lines for truth in itself. So, yeah. So, go ahead.
Yo, what's up,
Okay, well,
Nick?
essentially, truth conditional, I'm sorry, that's like truth conditional semantics, basically something that we use to analyze truth, possibility, and
Oh, okay,
necessity.
okay. I get what you're talking about. That's not truth conditionals. That's truth maker semantics. That's completely distinct. So let me explain something real quick. Truth maker semantics are basically something which we analyze for possibility, accessibility, through epistemology, through that stuff. So when we talk about truth maker semantics, again, that is regarding towards how we access it and what grants validity for a specific framework, which is aligned with the truth framework instead of the false framework, because through LEM, which is just, law of excluded middle, it's established through that, basically speaking. So, in that retrospect, it just refers towards what's accessible towards the truth framework. And that form of syntax or modal syntax, it's just not particularly like prescribing anything about the falsity framework. So, through LEM, that's basically just how we categorize that. So that's truth maker semantics. Truth makers conditionals, basically that would align with the truth maker semantics, but it's inclusive. Here's the thing, because both are essentially distinct, they're just inclusive. The truth conditionals allow for truth to be aligned. The truth maker semantics grants a specific proposition that accessibility. That is distinct, okay? Because one aligns for truth to be accessed, the other one aligns for a proposition to be accessed. So basically, essentially, I'll put it into a more concise form real quick. One grants a proposition, essentially speaking, the proposition being true. The other one aligns for a specific something to be aligned for true, and not necessarily in aligning with a proposition, essentially speaking. So when you say truth and then truth conditionals is the utility for that. The truth maker semantics and how we access truth in terms of propositions, which is just implicated from what you said, is just distinct semantics. I'm pretty sure the same set of semantics is the same implication, but one grants propositions, and the other one is something which can be used, utility for truth for those specific propositions, which is why it's inclusive and not essentially speaking, of course, the same thing. So it wouldn't be the same thing there. So I just had to cut you off to fix that mistake. But yeah, you can go ahead. So but also if I did want to like play ratty, I can sit here and like align with PREM. That basically just suggests that the form of the argumentation having falsity within it makes one of the premises false. Therefore, the syllogism following from that would be wrong. But I'm not dismissing the truth value of your conclusion or anything. So I would like you to proceed with the argumentation. I'm gonna claim that this first part is gonna be false, but I'm not gonna say that your argumentation for the truth value of the conclusion is false. So just so you know, I'm not gonna play ratty like that. So yeah, you can go ahead and continue on with your argument.
Okay. Do you also agree that a statement's truth can vary between worlds, possible worlds? So, for example,
Yeah, wait.
unicorn.
Hold on. What'd you say? You said truth varies from possible worlds.
Yeah.
Not exactly. When we talk about God, you be talk about necessary being for all grounding. So when you talk about God, truth doesn't vary from that. So you can't really apply the same thing there. So if you're implying God towards that, because what you're invoking is contingent
No,
truth versus necessary truth. God is necessary being, making him a necessary truth in all possible worlds.
yeah, I know.
When you view that model of theology, so truth, specifically speaking, does not vary in all possible worlds. When you talk about a specific type of truth, so you're talking about contingent truths. So when you talk about the existence of God, you have to align to the topic and not just contingent truth, because if you use that as some form of conditional for the existence of God, that's going to contradict God entirely in his essence, or the
No, I'm not,
reflexive
bro. I'm not,
part
bro.
about.
Chill.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
I'm not, bro. You don't have to sell that, bro.
What did you? Okay, you said I did not just quote unquote say that.
You don't have to sell that, bro.
I can't even tell what you're saying. Keep right inside the chat because you're speaking too low. Bro. You're speaking too low.
I'm sorry to
I'm
interrupt, but
saying,
what's the debate topic again? I'm sorry. I just want to know.
Yeah. It's God's existence, bro. It's God's
All
existence.
right,
But
bet. Wait, who's the one that think God is this?
it's Monkey Z right here. I'm only devil's advocating. I agree with his proposition, but I'm attacking the
Okay.
argument. So, is there any type of attack towards what I just said? Towards your conditional speaking wise, or
no, I agree with what you just said.
okay, then essentially speaking, you can't really have that as a conditional, considering I just said that's a false thing towards the conditional for the existence of God. So you're gonna have to stay on topic here. You can't.
No, that wasn't, bro. Just listen to the whole thing, bro.
Okay, I'm only like correcting you, by the way. But just go ahead, continue.
Okay. So, like before, we know that a statement's truth can vary between worlds. So, for example, the statement that, for example, yeah, unicorns exist is false in the actual world, but it can be true in some possible world because it's logically possible. So it's going to be true in at least one world. Okay.
Yeah, wait. So
Mm.
hold on. Just to cut you off. When you say the actual world, and then you invoke like logical possibilities, just to let you know, the actual world would differ from logical possibilities. That's a different modal scope you're applying that to. So it's not within the modal scope. So your analogy completely dismisses the contingent truth, specifically because that would only apply to one type of modal scope. You cannot imply truth would vary. I mean, it would obviously be true because obviously the truth from the actual world, etc. But when you talk about contingent truths, you would have to specifically talk about a specific like applicable set to a modal scope. So when you invoke logical possibilities, you obviously got to talk about logical possibilities and the scope of logical possibilities. So when you talk about the actual world, you cannot infer that for a logical possibility in a contingent truth because contingent truths talk about contingent beings within a specific modal scope. When you talk about other modal scopes and you invoke that they exist or do not exist within other modal scopes, you are comparing it to a different modal scope and a different set of worlds. So when you say logical possibilities, because it is quote unquote logically possible, you know, you have to stick to that modal framework. Otherwise, you're contradicting the idea of the immortal scope and etc. by allowing for the permissive, like just so far like the permissible like
What?
allowance for like
Wait.
the other motoscope. So you can't invoke other like the actual world inside this specific motoscope because it contradicts that motoscope. So that's my main point. That entire example is false as well. But you can continue with your argumentation.
Wait. Do you think unicorns exist?
I just said when you talk about motoscopes and the possibility of a unicorn, you invoke
No,
logical
that didn't answer
possibility.
my
No,
question.
no, 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 no. I don't care about your question because it's not relevant. I'll justify it real quick.
It
I'll
is
justify.
relevant.
Yeah, I'll justify that real quick why it's not relevant. So when you talk about motoscopes and etc., the existence of a unicorn obviously isn't the case within a fucking non-logical world. But when you refer to the relevancy of the point,
In a
I
what
already
world?
made, I already made my refutation why you
In
can't
a
really
what
apply
world?
that example. So when you talk about
In a what world?
unicorns existing, unicorns' existence can differ, okay? But that doesn't bring relevancy to my point about the motoscope being contradicted by another motoscope. You're obviously going to have to actually bring relevancy instead of saying, do you think unicorns exist? Like, obviously, I'm going to agree that within different modal semantics and modal scopes, that they would definitely be distinct in some type of existence, obviously, because it will be reflective within inside a contingent like space and etc., but not necessarily the same thing. So when you talk about that, you have to bring relevancy to my point why it's not contradictory, or else you're just not even going to go through the dialogue of what I just said, which is essential towards your point about the unicorn within a logical possibility and a nomological one being accessible, because you would have to talk about the specific modal scope it is assigned to. Or else, you're allowing for other modal scopes to be intimate, like be like interactual or just like modally accessible towards this specific modal scope, which can't be the case because it's a different set of frameworks. So you're gonna have to bring relevancy instead of just saying, "Do you agree unicorns exist?" You're gonna have to bring relevancy to that point. Otherwise, I'm just gonna call
What?
red hair.
Wait.
That,
I never said they're accessible. I just said that there's
yeah,
gonna be at least
I'm
one
aware
possible
you
world. I
didn't.
don't think I was done. I
I'm
don't think I was
aware you
done. I
did
don't
not
think I was done.
say
I don't think I was
accessibility.
done. I don't think
I'm
I was
aware
done.
you did
I
not
don't think I
say
was done.
accessibility.
I don't think I
Okay,
was done, bro.
so
I don't think I was
I'm
done.
saying you
I don't
obviously
think I was
didn't.
done, bro. I don't think I
You
was
did
done.
not. You did not
I
track
don't
my.
think I was done, bro.
Okay, so I don't care
I
if
don't
you're
think
on
I
I
was
think
mute
we
done,
need
bro.
because
moderation. I
you're
think we
so
need
I don't think I
moderation.
was done, bro.
no. Hold on. Can you mute him real quick? Can you mute him real quick? Because I'm
I
gonna
don't think I
explain.
was done.
So this
I'm
guy.
just saying, like,
Okay.
I suggest that
So
y'all
Yeah, I
keep
don't think I was
moderate,
done.
like
okay,
calm with somebody.
So
you can go
I
ahead.
never
You can go
said
ahead. Okay, I
they
just
have to
said you can
be
go ahead. Get on with it.
accessible in the same mode of scope or whatever. I'm just saying that there's at least one possible world where a unicorn exists or where the proposition is true if the proposition is logically possible. Since if a proposition is possible, there's at least one possible world that holds truth.
Okay, so
Yeah, you've been
are
rambling
you
about
done?
anything
Are you
for the
done?
past 5 minutes, bro.
Are
Like,
you done?
literally, bro.
Are you done? Yes or no? Okay, I'm just gonna. Obviously, I already conceded to the point that it's logically possible, but I'm saying once you bring the actual world, because you use the actual world as some type of framework example, I am saying that you cannot allow for that specific modal scope to go into the other modal scope. I obviously agree it's
I never
accessible.
said it did.
Yes, you did. You literally said actual world. It's so bad, bro. You know what? Just go on with
No,
your
I said
argumentation.
a unicorn. I said the proposition is not
Okay,
true.
yeah,
In
okay,
the
yeah,
wait,
that's
I
what
don't
I
think I was
said.
done. I don't think I
That
was
is
done. I
what
don't
I
think I was
said.
done.
It's not
I
true.
don't think
I
I was
said
done.
contingent
The
truths.
proposition is not
Step
true
contingent truths.
in this
Step
world because it does not
hold on.
correspond with reality. But in another possible world, the proposition can be true, unless you think it's contradictory for a unicorn to
Yeah, okay.
exist.
Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Let me help you real quick. I said because you're invoking the actual world within the sense of a logical possibility. It's contradictory towards the modal scope. The modal scope invokes the possibilities of this specific scope of possibility.
Wait.
Logical,
You don't think our
epistemically.
world is logically possible?
No. Don't. It's epistemically, metaphysically, nomologically, and dosastically. Those are the modal scopes in which you apply these specific possibilities being accessible towards. Okay? That's why I'm saying these
Do you think a
belong to
unicorn is
this.
nomologically possible?
No, you retard. I just fucking
Why?
said that
Why?
a modoscope, if you invoke the
Why is a
point,
unicorn not nomologically possible?
because it goes against what we know about the empirical fucking data of animals existing on Earth.
So,
That doesn't
doesn't
raise
matter.
probability unless you can give a probability for it not being
Wait, why
okay,
does that have to,
homologically
what?
possible.
Wait,
But
what?
that doesn't bring any type of fucking relevancy to my
Are
point
you
about.
dumb, bro?
Yeah, okay, hold on. That doesn't bring any type of relevancy to my point about fucking motoscopes. Like,
Yes, it does.
obviously, no, it does not, because my entire point was that you're allowing for non-logical ones to flow through fucking logical ones, which contradicts the idea of fucking motoscopes in the first place, because they would obviously be in a set of all fucking possible worlds. I
Wait,
mean,
all worlds are logical ones, though.
you said ontological ones?
All worlds are logical ones.
All worlds are logical ones? Man.
Yes.
So when you invoke possible worlds, you talk about which specific framework of sets they follow under. You don't
Yeah,
sit there
you
and
can
say
have a
they follow.
nomological
Okay,
possible
hold
world, which is
on.
obviously going to be restricted to that said modality, but it's still a logically possible world.
Okay, yeah,
I
hold
don't
on.
see why me
Let me
saying
just
there's a
refute that
possible
point.
world,
Let me
or
just
even
refute that.
just
Let me just refute that point real quick. Your entire point about them being inside the same set of being logical or logical possibilities. When you talk
can you
about
say that
logical
again?
possibilities,
Can you say that again? Can you say that again?
they have to be restricted towards
Okay. I
logical
don't
laws.
think you
Physical
quite
laws are not the same as, literally speaking,
bro. Just
logical laws. This is
calm
not follow.
down.
from
and listen.
logical errors in
Does
syntax
not
of a
say that again.
contradiction and then speak
Obviously,
about
I
the
didn't
law of
hear what you
excluded middle.
said. So
What'd you say?
continuing is not gonna help.
What'd you
Genius.
say? Hold on. So genius. I'm refuting your point about it being all worlds being logical. Like I'm gonna say this right
What?
now, and unless you mean in the sense that all worlds are logically valid to accept within a modal scope, versus the part about them belonging to the specific modal scope, because you never really addressed your semantics there. I can just call equivocation. But you know what? We can move on if you won't further address that. Like I'm
Uh,
already like fucking
do you
slamming like
not
back.
think all worlds are logically possible?
No, because I hold to different modal scopes.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, that's like
Wait,
basic modality,
wait.
retard. You can continue with your argument for God.
Do you think our world is logically possible?
I think it's not logically possible.
Yeah, but do you think it's well? Yeah, do you think it's logically possible though?
Logically possible. Logical possibility allows for things like unicorns that
Do you
contradict laws and
do you
etc.
agree
What we
it's
know
logically
about our
possible?
world. Okay, hold on. Our world is contradicted by things which are permissible under logical possibilities. That like flying, for example, you can't fucking fly if you're a humanoid inside a non-logical space because of gravity, etc. If you defy
Okay,
gravity,
so
like
that
say,
doesn't answer my
if you
question at
say,
all.
if you, okay, I'm answering the question. Hold on, let me just
It
justify
only
why.
tells us that it's restricted to nomological modality. It doesn't actually tell us if it's logically possible or not.
Okay, hold on. Because it's okay, that's restricted towards non-logical ones. I'm just saying under
Yes, that
what we
doesn't tell me
know.
if it's logically
Okay,
possible. You're just
hold on.
pivoting the question.
I was not finished. I was not finished. So when I say things are logical possible, this can be an example if it's permissible. I'm not exactly saying it's truthful, but I'm making up an example of why, if it was the case, a hypothetical, it would be contradictory, therefore not allowed under what is permissible under the specific modal scope. So obviously, you saying it's not truthful. This can be like like fucking restricted towards this, but you don't know if it's not this. Obviously, your epistemic skepticism doesn't work because it's not applicable to the same thing I'm literally fucking making, which is the whole point about fucking modal scopes. Holy shit, it's like basic fucking modality,
That
nigga.
didn't answer my question.
Your question was if our world is logically possible. I said that under the hypothetical, which can be allowed if you actually care enough to fucking justify it. The whole entire point is that logical possibilities allow for this specific thing. Inside the hypothetical, our world does not allow that. Therefore, that would be contradictory. We can't have
Yeah,
contradictions.
logical
Yo,
possibilities allow for things which are nomologically impossible, but that doesn't mean that nomologically possible things also aren't logically possible. I'm
okay,
not
so
sure what you're trying to
let
say.
me help you. Nomological ones do induce if it's not nomologically possible. It's literally nomological impossibility. It's literally holy shit. You are fucking retarded, bro.
I don't even
Anyways,
know
can we
you're
move on
mumbling.
instead of meta debating? Can we move on instead of
How is
meta
this
debating?
meta
Because you're
debating?
trying to
You're the
run.
one who brought it up.
I didn't bring it up because it was a contradiction towards your fucking syllogism. Then you fucking moved on towards fucking
Where's the
modals.
contradiction?
You never fucking addressed it. Holy
Where's the
shit.
P and the P?
The P and not P was the fucking modal scope point, you retard.
But that's not a contradiction.
Why is it not a contradiction? Go ahead.
Bro, bro.
Why isn't it a contradiction? Go ahead.
Because I believe that world is logically and non-logically possible.
So I just gave a reductio towards that. You didn't really refute that point. You just said, under this specific thing, which I literally manhandled at
Because
that beginning.
what are you done?
Like, hold on.
Nomologically possible thing. Do you think nomologically possible things are logically possible?
That doesn't make our world logical possible, by the way. Just so you
What?
know that.
That didn't answer my question.
Yo, okay, hold on. I'm literally refuting your question of why it's literally just fucking an
What?
oxymoron.
That didn't answer my question now.
Yeah, okay, hold on. That's the reason why I'm not answering your question because it's a fucking oxymoron. If I answered, that would be
That was an oxymoron.
if I answered with a yes, that would be just a fucking contradiction under what I consider it to
What?
be
Wait,
by
you think
theory
it's a
of truth.
contradiction for something nomologically possible to be logically possible?
No, I did not say that. I'm saying if we guarantee that our world
I didn't
specifically
hear you because someone just
logically
joined. I
okay,
didn't hear
hold
you
on.
because someone just joined.
Yeah. Hold on. I don't care about anyone else joining real quick. I'm saying if this specific thing, okay, you know
Bro,
what?
Are you
let
dumb?
me
Are you
try and
dumb?
help
I
because
don't
you are
care if
not
you care
helping.
about them joining.
You are
I said I
really
didn't
not.
hear what you said because they
I'm
joined.
trying to say
And
it.
if you
That
would know anything
retard.
about them joining,
Holy
you would
shit,
know
bro!
it
You're
makes a
so
loud
fucking
sound.
bad. It's
Therefore,
bad for
I
you,
didn't hear
bro.
what you said when they joined. So
It's
can
so
you
fucking
repeat
bad.
what you said at the start? Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm trying to repeat that. You keep talking. Now shut the.
How about y'all agree on get like a moderation, like Tom or somebody? Like
What? No,
y'all,
I'm only muting him. Wait. Let me explain something. I'm
I'm
only
saying like,
muting him because he does this thing where I say I didn't hear you. He just keeps talking about his point when that's useless because if I don't hear what you said previously, then how am I going to track what you fucking said?
uh,
If I said I didn't hear it and he keeps rambling and rambling without
how about
stopping
this?
and going back two
Mo-
sentences,
What about moderation? What about moderation? Like,
who
how
no
about
one
you
in
get?
here is mod.
I know you get like Tom Supreme or some shit like
Okay,
that.
you can get any. I'm I'm literally being
Like
okay.
for instance,
The
right?
only time I'm muting him is when he does that stupid thing of just carry on talking.
Speaking
I'm
of
not
Tom,
mod
Tom is
abusing.
online, so I could get him here to moderate. Like I
You
could get him
can
here.
get
Let
anyone
Tom.
right there, bro.
Wait, can you actually bring Tom? Because I actually have some words to ask him after the debate. So I'm
Okay,
not trying to
so
sound rude, obviously. So
Slam or whatever your name is.
Yeah. I'm back. So I'm gonna repeat what I said to you. Okay. I'm
Yes.
saying, originally speaking, logically, if you say because you originally held to your theory of truth that like our world is both logically possible and
What do you think a
non-logically
theory of
possible.
truth is?
I am saying, what'd you say?
What do you think a theory of truth is?
Just a truth which somebody holds to and that's back up.
You think that's what a theory of truth is?
Yeah, that's what a theory of truth is. Literally, analytically speaking, it is. I don't see why you would hold it.
I don't think that's what a
Because I
theory of
just
truth
think
is.
that's like sophistry. Hold on, give me a
Yo,
second.
what's happening? Yo,
What's
what's
up?
happening?
Wait,
Actually,
Yeah,
would you agree
so
Alright,
that a
so
theory of
basically
truth
they
is
over
just
talk each other,
unlimited?
so I'm thinking they need
shut up.
moderation, so that's why I call you here. They was over talking each other,
also,
insulting
Sabus,
and
I'm not
slurring
your
each other.
mic. Your dog
Tom,
over
Tom.
next storm.
Oh,
Sabus, turn off your mic.
they
Turn
need
off your.
okay. Just to explain it for X Storm, they need moderation. I do not know what the debate's about
Okay,
yet. So
Tom,
that's
Tom,
why.
Tom,
they
listen.
need
Okay,
moderation
I can
because
give
they
you
was
two
over
mod
talking each
terms.
other.
I can give
Yo,
you
give
two.
me your mic, please, mate.
I can give you two mod terms.
Let Tom listen, bro.
Hey, but I'm about to
Just
blaze your dog in a minute. Shut up, bro.
Tom,
I'm
Tom,
actually about to
Tom,
blaze
listen,
your.
bro.
I'm actually about to just.
No,
Okay,
Tom,
okay.
Tom, listen.
I'm
Tom,
back.
listen.
I'm back.
Whoever's turn it is to talk, right? Okay. If someone over talks them, or whoever's turn it is to talk, then just mute that person. Or
Okay.
if, because he does this thing where if I don't hear what he says, he'll just keep talking, even though I ask him to repeat him. If he does that, then can you just mute him? Because he does that a lot. Can you just do that? Those two things.
I can just give one of y'all mod perms. I
No,
can
I
give one of
have mod. I
y'all.
have mod, but I literally only mute him when he does, because he does this thing where like he will be explaining something, but I didn't hear it. Like for example, Jumbotron joined, and when you join, it makes a noise, so I didn't hear what he said. Then I was like, "Oh, repeat what you said," because I didn't fucking hear it. He kept talking and talking, like, bro,
All
Jumbo,
right.
oh, Dragon Ball,
Wait, okay, what? Okay, who's even debating? Is it monkeys and Slimer?
it's me and
Yeah, they're
Slammer
debated by
on,
theology, I believe. Am I correct?
yes,
Theology or religion?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
I've got a lot of stuff to do, so like I'm not gonna be able to moderate. But Xstorm or Jumbotron, if y'all want me to give y'all moderation roles, I can do that. If y'all want to
You can
Sure.
get
moderate,
Just give one
Jumbotron.
of them mod.
Okay,
Yes, give
Tom. I'm
one of
gonna be
them mod.
honest. I do not know how to server mute someone. You know what I'm saying?
What?
Yeah, wait, just give extra mod. I'm OG.
Yeah.
yeah,
Someone
I'll
has to
give
teach me how to
Xstorm.
use those mod
Alright.
perms. That's what I was the most
All
confused
right,
about.
Xstorm, you may need to teach your son Jumbotron, bro. Like you may need to learn a little thing. Okay, bro.
Alright. Oh my
I
god.
refuse to be this man's kid.
Yeah,
Thank you.
he did son you in that debate. I won't lie.
Oh, okay.
Dude, I don't do
Now,
debates. Remember that.
get back on track to the discussion, please, and thank you.
Alright, yeah, let's go
Sure,
back to the
sure,
topic.
sure,
Let's
sure.
go back to the topic. I mute.
I'll leave. I'll leave right now. I'll get out of y'all's hair.
Alright,
You guys, reminder that Sonic's
Thanks, Tom.
see you.
I bet. Alright, y'all continue
Okay,
Yeah.
on.
so Slammer,
So,
as I was
because you
saying,
asked me to repeat what I said, I think I should go first in terms of speaking. So I'm gonna explain it to you, so you don't try and like continue talking, like asking, because I've even repeated my entire point, like when trying to explain to you why you're wrong, etc. So I don't see why you can't pick up on it. But yeah, we can do this like severely, yeah. So can this guy go on mute real quick? Server mute, so he doesn't
All right,
interrupt.
wait.
Bro,
Hold on.
wait. Your background is crazy, bro.
Holy shit! Shut the fuck up! Damn.
Damn.
Shit.
Okay, damn,
Oh
damn,
shit.
damn,
Do I have to?
Bro,
You
I'm the
want me to
German
mute you?
Shepherd. I understand. They
damn,
Yo,
always
damn,
act
Slammer.
like
damn.
this.
Oh, yo, Slammer. Do you want me to mute you so you get some
Yo,
privacy or
slammer,
some
bro.
shit?
Slammer, bro.
Dude, you know, give me a second, bro. Give me a damn second.
Yeah, you got that, bro. Don't worry. Yo, damn.
Nigga just
Bro,
said shut the
yo,
fuck up to his own fucking dog.
Wait,
yo.
what dog is
He's
it? Is
close,
the
close,
real
bro. I
question.
believe.
Because I can give
It's
some
a
advice depending on the
It's a
dog.
fucking Pitbull King
I
Kortsky, bro. It's a King
A
Kortsky and Pitbull.
Korski? Oh, you're
we get it off
cooked.
top
That's
of y'all.
tough, low key, bro.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Okay, yeah, now I can continue because he finally shut up when I said that. Damn, bro. Fuck. Alright, yeah, I'll go first, bro. I'll go first. Give me a second. So I said because you inherently held in terms of theory of truth that, you know, our world was both logically and non-logically possible. Like you try to say, but that doesn't entail that that's, you know, restrictive towards you know, not restricted towards a logically possible worlds, like or you said that doesn't entail that it's not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you said not, which would be inclusive towards logically possible things or something like that. I don't know, but I'm just all like saying was that like yours was like a negation stance towards what I said originally. Like that's what the implication was, but originally just said if a nigga can fly and he's humanoid, like say for example, fucking Superman, you know, and Superman, he's humanoid. Someone like Superman cannot exist, but under logical possibilities, you know, because it doesn't contradict things which follow under, you know, logical, like, scopes, which follows under the laws of logic, classical logic, etc. That's how we deduct a proposition being valid for it, right? Specifically speaking, the entire point of, that would be to be inclusive towards logical or the sets of like logical laws. So that would be inclusive towards those sets of laws. Nomological possibilities are inclusive towards nomological laws. So if I had a nigga who can fly, right? A random fucking nigga who flies, you know, his name's your ass crack, you know, that's his fucking name. Or, you know, let's just say his name's the
Um.
people's cock, right? His
Slammer.
name's the
Slammer.
people's
Slammer. Slammer. No offense to you, but it's kind of seemed like you backtracking. Well,
how am I
I'm not
backtracking?
trying.
How am I backtracking?
Cause how we go from you know what? I don't want to argue. I'm
Alright, bro.
just
Just let me continue. I'll just
Alright,
see his point of view.
what I'm just saying in general is that because this specific thing that
I accidentally
these
muted you, bro.
frameworks follow under, right? And then you sit there and say that this random nigga named the people's cock, or your ass crack, whatever fucking name you want to give him, within this specific framework, can fly. He's restrictive towards the nomological possibilities because he's a humanoid that follows under, you know, this specific set of flying that would be inclusive towards logical sets under justification. I can give a justification for that real quick. And then, specifically speaking, because of gravity, which falls under physical laws and nomological laws, as I literally just said, laws of nature and etc., that would be inducive towards, you know, the nomological possibilities. That's how they work. And the guy named the People's Cock doesn't follow under that. He cannot be a part of that because that's a logical possibility. So if you say some things, by the way, that doesn't include the whole of it. Our world would include the whole of nomological laws. So that theory of truth is wrong because that's straight up just a Shut up! That's just a composition fallacy, specifically speaking.
I'm sorry. All right. Why did you done with your argument? Why didn't you mute yourself? You done with your argument, Slammer?
Yeah, I'm
No,
done.
bro.
That's what I was
That was
originally
the
saying.
dogs, bro.
Yeah,
That,
good
that,
talk.
that was the dogs, bro. Oh, that shut up was crazy. Yo, that was personal, bro.
Now that was a great. You could tell he's say that shit to his soul. I could tell there's veins
Bro.
popping out when he say that. Actual veins popping out his neck.
bro,
Like, if you guys have a husk, you're a
bro
German
thought he was an
Shepherd, I
anime
understand,
character,
but
bro. What are you
Corgi is
talking
crazy.
Bro thought he was
Also, by the
becoming
way,
Super
it's not a
Saiyan, bro.
corgi. It's not a corgi, bro. It's a King Kortsky and a Pitbull. It's a mix of that.
A king
Oh,
I only
but
know
Kortsky.
it's a
bro.
pitbull because I only know it's a pitbull. But all right, your turn, monkey. Your turn, monkey.
Wait, what's he done?
Yeah, he says he's done with your point,
Wait, but I want to make sure he's listening.
huh?
Because he's probably shouting at his dogs and he won't hear what I'm
No,
saying.
no, no. I'm listening. He's shut up right now. He's laying down.
Okay. Just, if you can't listen, just interrupt me, bro. Okay. That, well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you think modality works or possible worlds work, right? I'm saying that all worlds, no matter if they're nomologically possible, nomologically impossible, metaphysically possible, etc., they're all gonna be under the logical modality, or they're all gonna be logically possible, right? You bring up the example of Superman or fucking whatever his name was. I don't know why you're so fixed on his name, and that shit was kind of funny, but like, yeah, whatever his name was, bro. That guy can fly, yeah. That's gonna be nomologically impossible. That's fine. Uh, that can be a logically possible world where Superman can fly, but I don't see how that contradicts nomologically possible worlds also being logically possible. I think logically possible worlds will just encompass every modality, right? So when I say something is logically possible, or that it can be or that's a logically possible world, I'm just saying that there's no contradiction within this said world, or there's no logical contradiction, right? So, whether a world is nomologically possible or not, as long as there's no logical contradiction, it's still a logically possible world, because a logically possible or logical modality literally, like, I kind of view it as, I can show you a diagram actually. I think that'll be better. I You can hold on a little bit, because I think we're a bit
Can I speak real
confused.
quick? Can I like speak real quick? Like
Wait,
I
Oh,
already
actually,
know
no.
what you
oh,
mean.
let him finish his
I just
argument.
want
Let
to
him
send
finish
this
his argument.
diagram, bro.
Oh, let him finish the argument. Don't overthrow. Let him finish the argument like this. Man, go on mute.
Yeah. All right, bet.
Yeah, 2 seconds, bro.
No, I refuse to
Okay,
get
here's
back,
the
Sean.
diagram, bro. I'm gonna send it.
Wait,
I'm gonna
Jimbo,
send
can
it
you mute
in.
yourself right quick so
Okay.
they can debate? Thank you.
What happened? I'm gonna send it
Nah,
in the.
I just said Jimbo trying to mute himself. Y'all good.
Okay. Okay. What's your name? Slammer. Can you hear me?
Just call me Saber, bro. Just call me Saber.
Oh yeah, Saber. I'm gonna send in the, what's it called? Just the VC like thing. Okay, look, bro. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Yes, the logical one extends beyond what is impossible for the other modalities, but it also encompasses those modalities, which means it also encompasses what is possible within them, or whatever the fuck. So that's what I mean by, like, even if you have a non-logically possible world, it's still logically possible because it just encompasses those modalities. That it just encompasses what is beyond those also. Because if you look at the diagram, it's like a bubble, like it's bigger. The space it is bigger. So it can even encompass what is impossible, aka outside of the other bubbles. But it also encompasses inside the bubbles. So that's what I'm trying to say. But you can talk, bro.
Okay, yeah, sure. So these are just specific modal operators that are inclusive. Like, say for example, you'd be saying this like specific I would say modal operator. De dicto scenarios or like de re scenarios, which are more so, quite frankly, inclusive towards the modal scopes, right? That doesn't go that the whole of the thing would be accessible. Like, say for example, if I fucking claimed this modal world or this modal framework is just like exclusive towards this, or just inclusive in general. But you are talking about an operator or things which are possible from that. You're not talking about the whole of the thing, which would be the framework. The framework and the operators, which are extensive, not extensive, sorry, but inclusive and coextensive with the frameworks, because it's obviously a part of the essence of the framework and the modal syntax being reflected from that, right? So when you talk about that, those are operators. Those are not the frameworks in itself. If you call a framework an operator, you're basically just saying a framework is within inside a framework, which is just fucking paradoxical when it is the framework in itself when you try and say that. So that's just an operator within it. You are including the operators, but you're saying our world can be both logical and non-logical. Here's the thing where you messed up. You're saying some logical things are inclusive to these things, right? Which are inclusive towards these modalities. I think to help you better understand is saying that these are the specific operators, not the frameworks. The frameworks are assigned to these specific things and things within it. Now, I'm not denying a specific operator can be placed on a graph and then be like rejected. That's if it's only inclusive to a specific thing. Like I see what you're saying, but those are just operators which are inclusive towards all of them, which would make it be a metaphysical necessity that these things are inclusive towards the frameworks. Not that the operator in itself is a metaphysical necessity, but the proposition that it's inclusive towards all these things would be inclusive to all of them. So the operator by itself
Yeah, I
is
gotta
not.
go. Hold on. I gotta
Yeah,
go. I gotta go. So
yeah,
I
all
gotta
right, yeah,
go. So my fault.
that's fine. That's fine. Jumbotron has mod perms, but essentially
Yeah.
speaking, that the proposition in itself is a metaphysical necessity that it's like inclusive towards all the frameworks. But when you say an operator, that is not making the metaphysical necessity. So, obviously, I'm obviously talking about the metaphysical necessity, which is across all possible worlds, because across all this set of possible worlds, that will be inclusive towards that. So, when you take operators are not the whole, because the whole is the framework. That's basically just analytically speaking, from what you presented, a composition fallacy. You're assuming one part of a thing would extend towards the whole. It does not. Also, pause by the way, because that sounds dirty as fuck. But my
What did
main
you
point,
say?
but like my main point is just like essentially there. If you can refute the operator's point, sure, go ahead.
Me? That's okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of. What do you mean by an operator there?
So an operator would just be a modal operator. Are you aware of what a modal operator is?
Um, is this where you have? Is this where you have like?
Okay, would you need a definition for it so I can give you like a description of it? Like, would you like me to define it for you, like just out of
Yeah,
generosity?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, modal operators are essentially speaking just the things designated within the frameworks. You're aware that something within it is not the same as the whole of it, right? That's kind of like my main point. These are the things designated within the graph of the framework. So that's what I'm essentially speaking. It's indexed towards it, basically saying.
Okay, what do you mean?
Would you say? Do you need me to repeat it or no?
Okay, okay. No, wait. I'm not responding to everything you just said. We can just like, let's have some questions.
Hold on. I'm sorry. You have like background noise going on. Are you saying you have questions to everything I just said, or essentially
Yeah, I
speaking?
have questions.
Yeah. Go ahead. You can ask them.
Okay. Um. So, are you saying? Okay, are you saying the how do I put this? The things in the logical framework, I guess, whatever the word you use, um, and not also be the same as the ones in the physical one.
Okay. Are you asking if that's what I said, just for clarification?
Not verbatim, but like, is that what you're
Is that
saying?
okay? So I'll just clarify what I'm saying. I'm saying like whatever word I used was basically just modal operator speaking. Yeah, you can have a modal operator inclusive towards this specific thing, but a modal
What do you mean by
operator,
inclusive?
like, yeah, inclusive, I just means it's like within, or it can be included within, or designated within. So essentially speaking, that's an operator, but what you're doing is taking the theory of truth that a whole world, when talk about modal syntax, would be considered a framework in which we operate under for the specific modal operators to work under. So when you say those type of things, you are holding that the framework itself can be held to as this. What I said is that when you talk about logical things, you are saying something within the framework. So I obviously made the distinction between the modal world and the modal operators. That is what I said. I made the distinction between what your semantics is actually saying, but what you're trying to actually like imply. So basically
I'm
saying,
saying,
I'll repeat it. I'll repeat it just so you can like, just in case you didn't hear me. What I'm saying is that the operators are indexed towards the frameworks, and the frameworks are not what you're talking about. But essentially speaking, the frameworks, when it comes to modal syntax, obviously speaks about the mortal worlds. The mortal worlds is what you hold to because you said our world can both be logical and homological. What you are saying is that logical things can be a part of our world, and also non-logical things can be a part of logical worlds.
what? I
Those
never said
are
illogical things.
yes, yes, you did. You said that our world can be held to logical, and then
Illogical
that is
things? Did you say?
you said our world can both be logical and then non-logical. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the example you used. Hold on. Just to dim out of confusion, you said logical things. And then you gave an example, which is basically like going back into the VC of the diagram, basically speaking, logical, metaphysical, like things
Mm-hmm.
which are inclusive towards the modoscopes, basically saying the operators are distinct from the frameworks. That is what I'm saying. The frameworks are not the same as the operators, which you are referring to. That's like basically what I just said.
Could
Now,
you
is
give
any
me an example of an operator?
yeah, sure. If I just say the proposition, you have a fat ass, is within this logical possible world, and then I fucking say that nomologically speaking is gonna have to be the case, physically speaking, because of course you have a flat ass. When I say these specific operators,
Okay.
I'm in a day ray scenario, which
Yeah.
I talk about you having a fat ass within the other
Yeah.
possible world,
Okay,
and
that's
then
good.
sit there. Would you say?
Okay, that's good. Okay. So I think operators within the, what do you call them, systems or frameworks? Yeah, operators within, okay, let's look at the bubbles again, right? Let's say we have
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
framework of
I get what you're saying.
physical, and then we have, hold on,
Like
and then we have
I
physical.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Here's the thing, though. I get what you're saying about the operators being inclusive. And by the way, I forgot to answer your question. Inclusive. I'm just saying it's like in within like the thing that you can be indexed towards. But I'll make it clear real quick so we don't have to go over the trouble of like repeating your process of the diagram and shit like that. What I'm essentially speaking, like the main part, I just want you to refute if you still hold to that world part. The frameworks are not the same as the operators. That's what I'm essentially saying. Like the framework
Yes,
does
I
not.
know, I know. But
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
can,
Okay, okay.
yeah,
So,
but okay, do you agree that the framework limits the operator?
like, no, not necessarily. If I saw that down, I'd be agreeing to it.
Wait.
Limited towards a
Wait, wait,
specific
wait, 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 wait. So do you think, wait, so by framework you mean the actual
framework.
world? The, okay, let's say we have, um, a nomologically possible world, and we
Yeah,
have an operator within that, right? So,
yeah.
oh, okay. Yeah, it would be limited to that world or modality. Is that correct?
That honestly depends because here's the thing. As I listed my conditionals for like it being inclusive towards hold on. My conditionals for being inclusive towards the modal scopes would have to be following under the systematic things of the principles of the modal scope. So it honestly depends if the operator can be physically induced, naturally induced within a nomological one, and then logically speaking, does it hold any type of contradictions within its existence and etc. Of course, speaking. But like, say for example, that's the reason why I made like I agree that the operator as a proposition can exist in all specific worlds, but or motoscopes. Sorry, motoscopes. It would be like a metaphysical necessity to like. If you didn't include that, that would be a contradiction, of course, because obviously speaking, I think it could be non-logical. But what essentially I'm saying is that to get back to the main point is that the operators are not the same as the frameworks because the frameworks I don't
No,
really care. Hold on, like the operators part, I don't really care about the operators part. What I'm talking about and what I really do care about is the frameworks part because you're holding that a nomological framework can be a logical framework as well. That's what I'm saying.
no,
What you
no,
were
wait,
talking
wait,
about,
wait, no, no, no,
yes, you did because you held that our
no,
world. But hold on. You held that our world is both logically possible and nomologically possible, and this is the
yes.
framework. This is not. This is a framework, and that's the reason why I said your
What,
example
what do
is
you think
basically
logically possible means?
anything which can be deductible under the logical possible world, fucking systematic thing.
I think that's what logically possible means.
I already defined that, but okay, I'll repeat.
Would you
So,
not hold? Would you not say that something is logically possible as long as there's no logical contradiction within it being true?
okay, well, first of all, this is like addressing how we come to a framework of addressment of it, and then that includes what's permissible under those frameworks. So, what again am I talking about is the nomological ones. Are you going to sit here and justify why nomologically possible world like ours is justifiable under logical ones? Like you're gonna have to like try
Not
type in like
saying they are still
that's
logically possible, but still gonna be still restricted to those non-logical
okay,
laws.
here's the
But
thing. Okay,
they are
okay, that's
still
perfect. That is perfect. That is perfect. Hold on. I'll point out your obvious contradiction real quick. So the contradiction being that the non-logically possible one is deemed as logically possible. That would be viewed as an operator being within a logical framework. A logical framework would be a logical possibility. You're saying our world is a logical possibility. You are saying that, specifically speaking, that the proposition is logically possible and etc. That is a de dicto scenario. Or essentially speaking, the operators
whatever.
within our possible world as well, that would be a de re scenario as well. It would be inclusive to both those terms. So when you say that, that's an operator. An operator is not the same as a framework. That is what I am saying. So when you use that example, that is an operator within a logical possible scenario. That is the framework. Our framework, which is non-logically possible, does not induce that is a logically possible framework because it's categorized as a non-logical one. If you sit there and say that the logical possible world is also possible within our non-logical one, sit here and say that would be the operator of the non-logical framework. See what I am saying? The frameworks are being granted there. Obviously speaking, that is what I'm saying. Because one would be classified as an operator under each framework, but the frameworks are distinct. You would hold one as the operator, but then that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, okay. I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand half the words you're saying, but you do you agree? Alright, wait.
Hold on.
Are
You
you
didn't
trying to
understand what I
say
said.
that anything but that the logical framework must be outside of the physical one?
Okay, hold on.
Which means
That's
it can't.
that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying is that if you include our framework inclusive within a logical possible one, you are saying it's permissible under a logically possible framework. The logical possibility framework would still be the logical framework, which then is, of course, distinct from the non-logical one because you would take
Yeah,
each
it's
possibility.
distinct,
Hold,
but
hold,
they
hold,
are.
hold on, hold on,
But
hold on. What I'm saying is that you would take each world as the operator. It is not the same as the framework. That is what I mentioned. It would be the operator, obviously speaking. Is there any type of rebuttal towards that point? Like, I'm not focused on my semantics. I'm more focused on the point I'm making about modal operators. Like, I don't care for my semantics right now.
okay, so
I'm
you're saying the
more interested.
operator is the world?
Would you say?
So you're saying the operate when you say operator, you're saying it's the world?
I'm saying that when you induce it into a logical framework, it could be an operator. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You're saying each one
So
is.
the logical
You're
operator is the world.
okay. Hold on. essentially speaking, it would be viewed as our world, right? But you are saying it's a logically possible framework, which induces that, basically speaking, it would be categorized differently under the modoscope, which was my original point. Also, hold on, my phone is dying, so I will be right back. Hopefully, the dog does not bark, okay?
Mm-hmm.
$20, his dog's gonna start barking.
Yo, hold on, I'll be.
You say John Bertrand?
I said I feel like the dog's gonna start barking. I feel like it.
Come, bro.
Okay, can you hear me?
We can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah, okay. So, did you get what I was saying? Is that when you talk about frameworks, you talk about modal worlds. The logically possible world would be the logically possible
So
world.
the
The
world
operator
is
would
the
be our world.
framework.
You know what I mean? That is possible. Hold on. The framework being the logical possibility, obviously it would work under that framework. What I'm saying is that the framework is still logically possible, and the operator would be viewed as logically possible. The nomological framework having this specific also like operator, which would be viewed as the world, right? That is viewed as an operator and not the framework, because the framework is established by the systematic specific laws which goes with it. That is what I'm saying. That's the original point I made, but it's more like redefined and more so like explained more.
Hold on,
It
hold
just
on,
grants
hold
more
on, hold on.
explanatory power.
Hold on.
So
I'm
like
just gonna
you can like,
concede because I gotta go do something.
okay, yeah, that's fine. I can just save the recording then.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I gotta go now.